Hi and welcome to another episode of Tool Talk. I'm Mark the Window Cleaner. This show brought to you by WindowCleaningResource.com. Well, today I want to talk to you about Unger's latest invention, creation, shaking up the world product. I'm talking about the Unger Ergotech Ninja Squeegee. You've no doubt heard about this product getting a lot of write-ups in the last month or so, a lot of talk on WindowCleaningResource.com. There's been several Facebook postings on it, trade show buzz going around about this product. Basically what we have here is Unger's entry into the wide body channel squeegee world. Now I myself have never really used a wide body channel before, so this is my first experience with it. Others have the Slayer or the new Pickle from WindowCleaningResource.com, as well as the Ettore Super Channel and some other different products out there. Basically, a wide body channel squeegee is a squeegee, a sturdy squeegee channel that quite often will accommodate more than one positioning for the rubber. You can get multiple scenarios dealt with having this flexibility and which channel you put your rubber into. You can have it in the first position, which has it sitting a lot lower, which gives you a lot of strong back support from that sturdy channel. Or you can have it in an upper position, we call that position 2, let's say, where you get a little bit more flexibility with the rubber. This is quite handy for scenarios where you have glass that's, it's not terribly flat. It's got a lot of waviness to it. And having a bit more flexibility in the rubber allows you to more hug the glass more during your passes. Also, closing out down at the bottom, especially on higher windows, you might want to have the squeegee rubber out just a little bit more. Again, gives you that little bit more flexibility for closing out nicely. So like I say, this one here's got two different positions, and what makes this particular wide body channel quite unique in comparison to many of the other products on the market is that you don't need any special kind of rubber for this. You can just use your standard everyday squeegee rubber that you can find just about anywhere. Of course, we want you to find it at WindowCleaningResource.com. This is very much a cost savings in comparison to some of these other more expensive rubbers. I'm sure a lot of people are in the fans of the wide body channels are going to be quite happy to hear about this. Some other unique features about this channel is the end clips, which are pretty unique to Unger. Just popping them, they're kind of like it's got a little bit of a slide on it. As soon as you pop both sides there, you can basically change your rubber out quite easily. You can change it to a new rubber if you want, flip it over if the one side's worn out, and again, change the different positions, lower position or the upper position, as need be. And when you put in the new rubber or switch it around, you just push the end clips closed and you're all set. This is all nice and locked in, it's not going anywhere. Another great thing about this channel and handle combination is that you've got this switch at the back. You just pull it down, so you just flip it down, push it all the way down, it's got a little spring in it, and channel just pops right out. So popping in, popping out. And as soon as you put your channel in and you want to line it up to make sure it's nice and straight, you just look for those two ninja stars and just make sure you're all lined up there straight. Now that's totally centered. And keeping in line with the rest of Unger's Ergotech products, of course it's got that nice comfort grip. In comparison to their Ergotech swivel channel in the past, I mean, the handles look quite similar. They feel quite similar in the hand. Now both of these are pivot handles, but traditionally Unger's Ergotech has used a dial on the outside, so you can just dial either tighter or looser depending on how you want that swivel to be. The new Unger Ninja uses basically like a slot screw. The slot's big enough that you can stick pretty much any coin from a nickel up. Well, you can use a penny too, but it's a little small. But any good sized coin to quickly just loosen it up or tighten it up depending on what your preference is for that swivel. Of course, you get that full 180. There you go. Now, have I had any issues with this squeegee? I've been using it for about 3 weeks, and so there's a couple things I do want to point out to you. Before I get into an issue which is kind of a little bit of a problem, but there's a quick fix to it. The first little small issue is that for you bucket and a belt users out there, I use the Unger, also sometimes I use the Polex. This fits into the bucket on the belt usually without any kind of issues, but only when the rubber is in position 1, that is the lower position. If I have it in position 2, what's going to happen is that's going to rub against the channel inside the bucket on the belt, and of course you're going to wear out your rubber a lot faster. You're going to end up leaving a lot of water behind. So like I said, just keeping it in position 1, you're not going to have any issues. Position 2, it's not going to fit properly. But I mentioned just very briefly about leaving water behind. That is the second issue I want to talk to you about. And anyway, before I get onto that, the first issue, not really a problem. It's just a fact of how the tool is designed. Not going to always be great on bucking the belts in the second position. But the second thing I want to talk about, the issue, could be a slight bit of a problem. I know the first time I used the Ninja, I was leaving water behind, and I couldn't quite figure out why. I attributed it to maybe being a bad piece of rubber, the one that was shipped with. Maybe it was already worn. So I pulled that out, I threw in a new piece of rubber, still had the same issue. Okay, well, so what do I have to do? My first fix, I guess, was to put a little bit more pressure on the squeegee. And that solved the problem right away. However, I didn't really like the idea of needing to put a lot more pressure on it, especially after, I've been using wagtails a lot lately, just, giving them a good testing, and they really work excellent with light pressure. So now picking up this, having to put pressure, didn't seem to be a good workaround. Now, I have been talking through emails and such with some other people who have been test driving the Unger Ninja, and one person was suspecting that it could have been possibly a design flaw or quality control issue, but he was leaning more towards design flaw, and that he says the rubber is bowed, and I could actually say that I saw the same kind of things that he did when taking a closer look at the rubber. When it's locked in place, you get this bowing, you get this high end here on the ends, and it's low in the middle. So if you were to hold this onto a flat surface, you'd actually see light coming through in the middle area, because you got this bowing going on. Well, my first fix to solve that problem was really quite simple. Once locking the clips in, I can see that the rubber is raised. All you need to do is just pull it a little bit down on the ends, then pull on the other end, and I can definitely see that they're not as raised anymore. And holding it on a flat surface, I do see just a little tiny bit of light underneath there. Not really a big deal once you've got the blade on the glass. There you go. So, in my opinion, I don't really think it's a design flaw. I think it's just something that you have to know to set up your rubber properly. That goes the same for any squeegee. Just make sure everything's sitting in nice and straight in the way it's supposed to be. He could possibly have a quality control issue with the one that he's been test driving. I don't know. We're going to hear, I'm sure I'll hear from him in a week or two, maybe see where he's come with that. And the last thing, is it an issue? Might be and might not be. The last thing I want to point out is, if you notice, this is a fresh piece of rubber I just put in here, and here's the end of the clip here. And actually, now that I have it up close, let me just show you how, there's the unlocked position, and then the locked position. Now if you notice how much rubber is sticking at the ends, it's pretty close to being a 1/4 inch, maybe just a little bit under. I've never been a fan for having a lot of rubber hanging off over the edges, but I find that with any squeegee, when you put the rubber in for the first time, you're going to have a little bit overhang. I like to trim my rubbers down, and that's what I've even gotten into the habit of doing with the Unger Ninja. All in all, I have to say that I am quite happy with how this squeegee is performing. Besides those little tiny minor issues, which, one, the bucket on the belt problem, it's just, I gotta know, if it's rubber's in the second position, it's not gonna fit in the bucket on the belt properly. Not a big deal. Second one, after loading in a fresh piece of rubber, just make sure, take a quick look at your ends. If they do seem to be raised up a little bit, you just give them a little tug down. Usually that's all you have to do. Other than that, if you are leaving any water behind, just might be a case of just applying a slight bit more pressure. Hopefully not too much for you. I'm noticing once I've been pulling the ends down a bit, I haven't had to put as much pressure on it. So we're back to this thing performing like it should be. I love the fact that it's a nice sturdy channel. I think it's a channel that's, I'm going to learn to love more and more over time, especially when doing high windows where, because you're not out there nose to glass, you might want to put a little bit more pressure just to make sure that you're not going to leave anything behind. It's good to know that you have a channel up there that's not going to flex when you put pressure on it. That's very good. One other last thing that I have to say that I really, really like about this channel is out of every kind of squeegee I've ever used, I've never had a squeegee perform as well as this particular squeegee for bringing water down from the top edge. Like from the seal. It always, lately I've almost felt like I haven't had a detail at all in that top area. When using this on a pole, normally I always go through with a rag on the pole, right across the top, little insurance detailing, and lately I've almost felt like, oh, what's the point if nothing's dripping? This thing really works well to bring the water out from the edge. And I think, I'm not quite sure, like I said, I'm not usually a wide body channel user, but I think maybe some of the other people who do use them may be able to confirm this. Maybe it has something to do with the channel, the sturdiness of the channel, the nice back support that allows you to squeegee from the edge out and pull everything out with it, not leave water around near the seals. And because of that, I'm no doubt going to get a hold of the widest channel that's available. I think is a 36-inch, as well as the smallest channel, which I think is an 8-inch from Unger. It would be perfect for my French painting jobs, because those ones there are really, they can really be quite annoying if you're leaving water anywhere close to the edge. Anyway, once again, a typical Tool Talk episode. A lot of talk. Hopefully you didn't get too bored. Hopefully you've been able to listen to me get past some of the excited hype about the tool and take a look at some of the finer details on it. And hopefully this video will be a deciding factor in whether or not you want to go with the Unger Ninja wide body channel design. Anyway, take care. Bye for now.